Hi, Bob Quinn here from GentleTools.com. I'm here with some of my canine friends and human friends to show a brief video segment on how to use some of our basic tools. This a Taishin, and this we just call our basic stroking tool, which is a combination of two tools, this fan-shaped one and the round one. So in this video segment I'll treat a number of dogs and you'll get a sense of how this work goes. You can find more information at the website GentleTools.com. What I'm going to show is how to treat a dog that is too hyperactive. It's a very calming treatment, very easily learned. What happens when people get excited or anxious for that matter is in Chinese medicine we have the idea of circulation of the vital energy, and if you are getting anxious the energy is going up, 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 and it needs help getting back down. So if we have a dog that's too anxious, that's too hyperactive, that is a case where the energy has gone up and it needs help to circulate back down. For that reason, we always are stroking from the head towards the butt on the dog, not back and forth, always in that one direction. We want to help the energy come down. The way the tool is held, we're not doing this sort of thing unless for reasons of angle you have to. In general, we want the tool to be back from the tips of the finger, held off to the side, then you can lock down with your thumb. And that way, when you stroke, the metal actually barely touches at all. The technique we're talking about here is really working on the surface energetic. This is not a massage technique. Not that that would be a bad idea, but that's not what this tool is designed for. So a basic stroking, and you see it's a wrist movement. It's not from my shoulder like this. It's a gentle wrist movement. And we want to, before we start on the dog, we'll quickly scan at least the spine to get a sense of you might call it the beginning state of the energy. And we're scanning for any obvious areas of heat, or if not heat, a prickly sort of sensation. And as a beginning, you might, if you're watching this video at home, first get a sense of where in your hand do you perceive best temperature. So for me, it's this area right in here. Some people it's all the way up on the fingertips, some people further down, some over here, some over here. Get acquainted with your own perceptual apparatus, we could say, and you're going to use that particular part as you scan the spine to see sort of the baseline, because any areas that show micro areas of inflammation where you feel heat or what I've described as a prickly sensation, those are areas where at the end of our brief treatment, and this should be a brief treatment, we want that to be changed. We want it to be less hot, less prickly, ideally not at all hot, not at all prickly. And so let's see how this looks on one of our dogs here. So we have a Casali here, very excited because there are other dogs in the house. I'm going to quickly scan. Already feel heat here, less. And this is not all that, it might seem like it'd be particularly subtle, it's not all that subtle. Mainly I feel heat here, so there has been this upward movement of this vital energy, we could call it. So again, this basic stroking tool, I'll review the hold. We're going to hold it like this, coming off towards the thumb, and the thumb just gently locking down on it. Are we still in the frame there?
Stand up.
And no. Yeah, here we go. You see, I'm just barely stroking. I have to come in contact. I feel the heat in here. That's what I want to move down. I can do a single hand stroking, I can stroke and follow. But again, it's not mindless. I can't do this and think about the laundry in the basement or my shopping list. You have to really pay attention to the feel of the energy and start to help move it back down. Now, metals, of course, have energetic properties. We have this tool primarily in copper. You see me using a stainless steel one here. I'll take a copper one out in a moment and show that as well. It's changing. It's less hot, but still needs a bit more. Come here, sweetie. Come here. I'm just going to get a sense. Still needs a little more. You want to try? So hold. Okay. Hold about like that. If you're right-handed, use your right hand.
Like this?
Yeah. But more relaxed in the hand. Yeah. Relax the wrist. Yeah. And even lighter touch. Really think of working the surface. That's perfect. Loosen the wrist again.
I see, because of the surface.
You want the energy. It's not so much a fur or a skin kind of technique. Yeah. What a good dog. What a good dog.
To the very bottom?
Yeah. And so as I scan here, it's starting to feel pretty consistent all the way down. I had said initially we don't want to over-treat. This is not a therapy where more is better. You just get the change you want and then trust that that's enough. This is can be repeated every day, even twice a day if needed. And each time should really only take 2 or 3, 4 minutes at the tops. And the benefits accrue over time. I don't know if you could feel initially, but there's a good change there. There had been none of that prickly sensation, but there had been an overt, easily palpated heat. Yeah. And so if this is done every day for a hyperactive dog, the behavior changes notably. Let's get another. So I just one more time want to go through the tools. This is our basic stroking tool that we sell at gentletools.com. And the inspiration for this fan-shaped N comes from this one. This is a Yonayama Tsanshin, a commonly used tool in Japanese pediatric practice. And the rounded end comes from this, another common pediatric tool. This is called an enshin, this one designed by Yanagishita, who was a very famous acupuncturist who died a few years ago. We haven't talked in this video segment about how to use the enshin. I will get another segment up sometime soon. We also have looked at this tool, which is a teishin. This one, again, comes out of pediatric practice, which is called shonishin. This tool is called a teishin, T-E-I-S-H-I-N. This is gold-plated over aluminum. This was designed also by Mr. Yanagishita. And this one we saw, just to review, is there are many ways you can use a teishin. We've only shown one. This basic, very light tapping where you feel accumulation or focal area of heat. Just tap long enough till the heat starts to disperse. Don't keep going until all the heat is gone. And the basic technique for this again was to hold it about like this, the thumb gently locking it down, and a movement coming from the wrist with this gentle stroke. Very, very, very light contact of the metal on the skin. For a puppy, very short strokes. An adult dog, a large dog, you could lengthen it out like this. So that's a basic review of the tools that we use. You can go to gentletools.com to see these. Okay, so we have Meriwether. Now how old?
2.5.
2.5. So I feel actually heat in the throat. Here.
Ear infection, yeah.
Yeah, here. Not so problematic, a little bit, just a little. I mean, worth stroking down some, but mostly issues are up here and in here. So do pay attention to what you find when you scan. But definitely I'm aware of the heat here. I also want to mention this is not a technique to substitute for professional veterinary care. You do want to get your animals in whenever anything is going on. This is just something you can do at home to help, as we were talking about, help the energy cycle back down, help behavior issues, but no substitute for competent veterinary care. Yeah, heat in the chest too. Even working back here, considerably less heat now in the throat. Very interesting. Find that often in human beings. Sore throat, we work to release the neck, and it's a lot better here. Treating the back to help the front, although we are going to need to stroke in the front some. I'll let you do that.
Smooth side. And there's going to be downward. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right from here, all the way up to.
Smooth this collar.
Yeah.
Very good job, Meriwether. Yeah. Sore throat? You okay?
So let's scan now. Much better. A little bit where my hand is here still. See if you can feel that. Give it.
Oh yeah. It's good up here.
Oh, much better. So I think this ear a little bit of tapping. Yeah.
Okay. Other one?
No, okay. Oh, yeah, I can do it. Oh, what do you think? Is that a fun feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a funny feeling? Just a little bit in the hips. That's considerably better than what we started with. Okay, Meriwether, thank you. So here we are with Kali, a standard poodle. And already we've seen that there is heat. And scan down a little here, but more there. And get a little bit of cooperation here, Kali. Yeah, I mainly think working this. I mean, we want to do the whole thing, but we're going to have to focus there. Well, when there is heat up here on the ears, this tapping technique that we have showed already, that's going to be what's needed up here. And we might have to do some stroking first, just by way of calming, before we get to that. So this is the copper one. Yeah. So we're going to start, again, noticing it's mainly a wrist, nice relaxed, wrist motion, the fingers relaxed, and definitely there's heat here. So exciting to be here with all the other dogs. Yeah. Yeah, see, try. Now, hold on. Yeah. Yeah.
And left-handed, let's go for that.
So just getting the downward stroke. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, Mama's taking care of you. Again, just even if you aren't feeling these subtle differences that are being described of heat or prickliness, still just do the technique and just start paying attention. It won't be long before you do perceive things that initially you weren't able to. And remember that this is just a few minute long treatment, and that it's repeated daily. The benefits will build over time. You end up with quite a different animal. This is the way children, infants certainly, and sometimes all the way up to the age of 12, the way children are treated in Japan. Instead of putting acupuncture needles in the body, we work the surface energetic, you could say, with various tools that tap, stroke, rub, and a remarkably effective style of treatment called shonishin. And if you are an acupuncturist and that idea interests you, there's a great book out by Stephen Birch that comes with a DVD, and you can watch him demonstrate all the different techniques in the DVD.
On children?
On children, yeah.
Stephen what?
Birch. So as this has moved the heat down, that actually has allowed some of this to go, but now I think we need to do the tapping. And, yep, perfect. And just nice and light. Yeah, yeah, he's so curious, just so curious. And here we're looking to disperse this localized heat. Yeah, that's funny feeling. Now when children, infants have earaches, which is quite common, this is a technique we use in those instances. Don't, based on this video, start to treat children though. Do take the time to get proper training. So let's have you scan the ears now and see what you think about the difference, how much of the heat has gone.
Wow.
Yeah, that feels a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good treatment.
Wow. Amazing. Awesome.
Good work there, Kali.
Wow. That is so cool.
So the question was just asked about dogs where there's always burping. Well, that's another example. Sorry?
She'll just walk up to you and that water comes out like 2 hours after eating.
Yeah, so spitting up, burping, this is what we call counterflowing qi in Chinese medicine. Qi meaning vital energy here. So just like anxiety brings the energy up, this counterflowing digestive qi, another example. And again, and this could be done, we're showing it on the back, but the belly could be stroked in this way as well. In that case, you might put the dog on his or her side so you can get to the belly. So that's another condition, this counterflowing digestive qi, where this technique is really just brilliant. That's the case with the dog next door to where I live. So here we have Pelican. Yes, you hear your name. Huh? So we're just going to scan. A little heat here. And not so much here, but a little bit worth working on. So here this would be more, we're coming off the spine, digestion is implicated, but even more down here. So again, we just start the, notice that I don't have to hold it like this, I don't have to really be tight, it's not going to jump out of my hand. If your hand is relaxed, you have a better chance of perceiving subtle energies. And if you find at home that you're trying this and you don't perceive these sorts of things I'm describing, don't worry, your hand will develop the sensitivity. Just do the basic technique. What you can do at home if you don't have this tool is take a silver spoon and just hold it this way. The rounded side is the side that would be in contact with the fur. Silver is a very pleasant metal to work with. So here I notice the most where I need to work. I'm going to take out another tool that I think will actually be needed here, and it's a basic pediatric treatment tool in Japan. We call it a teishin. Can be used on adults all the time as well, which I certainly do in my acupuncture practice. And so I'll give this here to you, and let me just show the teishin. Yeah. So here's what the teishin, this again designed by Yamagishi. And are we still in the frame?
Will be.
And here you want, imagine this finger is a board. So I want my fingertips and the rounded end of the teishin to be on the same plane. And here I'm just going, you see how just the stroking calmed Pelican so much, but we still have heat here and I want to disperse it a bit. It's about this big an area. And so I just am going to be, again it's all wrist, this is going to be gently tapping, and we do it on you see how light the contact is. So the basic technique is just this with the wrist. As you get used to that technique, you can start adding in this piece. As you tap, sometimes you express and let a little bit more metal contact by doing this while. So some of the taps are like this, some are like this, right? Some just like this, more dispersing, right? So we'll just do the gentlest of all. And where we have that spot of a little bit too much heat, we could call it maybe micro-inflammation of some sort, almost certainly subclinical. Still not a good idea to have that if we can get it to be all the same. So here still. Now if you have a dog with bad hips, very common, this would be the technique you would do in the hips itself. Again, just a few minutes, literally, every day. And over time, as the energy moves in the hip better, things start to improve with the range of motion and the degree of pain. Still needs a little bit. And maybe jump in a few more strokes there. And then that would be enough for Pelican. Let me get out of your way. That's good how you're using this. And just nice. And you see how nice and relaxed Pelican has gotten. And, I mean, she tends to be a mellow dog anyway. That's going to help, though, bring that digestive chi down.
He is really fearful, though.
So he has that fear, anxiety. Yeah. So this
Runs away from everybody. I mean, especially dogs.
Yeah, and for the digestion, be curious in an ongoing way in this area here, about in the middle. And I think maybe could do just a few more strokes there. Yeah. Well, maybe she wants some on her belly. That's what it looks like to her. Or he. Here we have yet another. This is Marco, 8-year-old, right?
Yes.
Okay, and some knee problems. But first we're going to scan as we described, and I do feel heat here. Not an overwhelming amount, but it registers. Actually, yeah, from here up. Yeah, all the way up. So this will be a good
He's had
technique.
whiplash too this year. So.
Had whiplash this
Yes.
year. And let's check up here. Yeah, so up here you can stroke and tap, and down here mainly we'll stroke. If you had an area of strong heat, you could tap there as well. But so we're just going to start. And again, the tool, I'm using the copper stroking tool now. You'll just see a very soft contact, barely contacting with the metal. I can already feel a softening. Still needs more. The thing about this technique is it just doesn't look very impressive. You're not led to expect much. We encounter that working on infants and children all the time. The parents think, oh, paying to have someone do this for 3, 4, 5 minutes to my child, and it's just not so impressive looking. You don't expect much. But if you do this regularly with your dog, you will be very surprised in a very short time that this really, you'll notice if you start skipping 2, 3 days of not doing it, then the behavior becomes back to the original hyper state. Just becomes part of your daily life with the dog to do a little bit of this Shonishin technique. So I hold and you try now. So the smooth side is the side we want to be contacting.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that. Okay. Yeah, beautiful soft wrist, see that? And now just pay attention to it's a kind of a vague term, this idea of a surface energetic. Pay attention to what you're feeling there. I can still feel heat up here. We'll have to get here with the tapping. But as vague a term as it is, it'll start to become meaningful to you if you start to practice this daily with your pet. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? Now, where we have a dog with hip problems, maybe dysplasia, here we've had surgery on the knees. There, the gentle tapping, possibly followed by a little bit of this stroking, but not too much, just a little bit. Just try to, every day, slowly improve things. The more is better kind of thinking is the wrong kind of thinking here. Here we're trying to investigate what Buckminster called more with lessing. He also called that ephemeralization, trying to do ever more with ever less. So we just give the appropriate level of stimulation and not more. We err on the side of doing too little, not on the side of doing too much. So let's switch to the tapping. I'll change tools for you. Or did we have it out already? Oh, here we go. So this side, so again, you want the round tips to be at on the same plane as your 2 fingers. And here's the level of very light, right? It's just very light. It looks like this. We're looking to, in a sense, we're trying to vent the heat with this technique. Yeah. And we could take that down into the knee.
Attention on that one.
Mm-hmm. You want to get on your side, the ear and the knee.
Oh, this way.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, doesn't that feel good? It's very light, the amount of pressure and the contact here. Very, very light. And until you're used to the motion, you could slow it down quite a bit. It's better to have a regular rhythm than to try to go too fast. You can't see off camera the dogs we've already worked on, but they are all, for them, unusually calm. And that's what this technique will get you. Of course, it's very fun to work with your pets in this way. It creates a different kind of bond. out. I don't feel that kind of heat up here. A little bit here, maybe a little tapping here, and then we'll finish with that. This area in here, right on the spine. That Marco, that's a good dog. That Marco's one good dog. So let's see now. Yeah. One more little spot. I think that's it, babe. I think that's it.
Okay.